This is Freedom 107, the voice of freedom. Good morning, Jeff Aiken along with you. Joining me in studio is a gentleman who made news on Friday. As you know, there was reports of a gunman inside of St. Michael's Hospital about 1:30 in the afternoon. They put the hospital on lockdown for about an hour and a half, possibly 2 hours, somewhere along in there. And it was a very strange moment, obviously, when details started coming out that the gunman actually didn't even have a gun. So what happened? What was involved in this? Well, I happen to have the alleged gunman in studio this morning. His name is Leroy Dodd. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Jeff. How's it going?
I'm doing fine. What about you?
Man, I am thankful for my life. I am thankful that I am well. I'm blessed.
Well, let's go through the scenario now. Here's the setup to the story. You called me about 1:15, 1:20 on Friday because you wanted to check out and see how my birthday went from Thursday.
Yes, sir.
So we're talking. You've just enjoyed some gumbo there at the hospital because you go to the hospital on Fridays to eat gumbo. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden they start moving you guys out of that room into another room, and you hear that the hospital is on lockdown because there's a gunman. Now, take us from that point forward.
Well, Jeff, everything was happening so fast. But as you said, everyone who was in the cafeteria along with me, we were all asked to move to a more secured area by one of the staff members there at the hospital. And as we were swiftly moved into this secured room, we began to become more and more anxious as time passed, wondering what was going on. We did get a couple of reports from the gentleman who moved us into the room that there was a gunman who had came through the ER and he had a gun. One of the staff members in the ER saw the gun and they were looking for this individual. And so we were all getting really anxious because of the simple fact that we're sitting here and there's a gunman roaming the premises, and we are kind of secured in this one place, not knowing what's going on the other side of that door.
Now, I'm sure you guys are remembering back in February when a gunman went into the Wadley Hospital and fired some shots, and it was a big deal about that. And so this is a pretty sensitive issue for folks here in Texarkana.
Well, I mean, it's the summertime.
Yeah.
There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of things going on in the economy. And so the American life is changing drastically, and there's a lot of factors. And so anytime you find yourself in a situation like this, it becomes escalated very quickly.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I think we started to see things get very uncomfortable real quickly while we were in that room.
All right, so now you're in the room. The entire hospital, the entire campus is on lockdown. Police have come in. They're looking for this gunman. Take us through the scenario in the next few moments here.
Well, we got another word. The gentleman who escorted us into this secured area steps out of the room. He comes back in a few moments later, and he's continuing to update us that this guy has a gun. He's out there. They hadn't found him. It could take a while. This is a very large place, but all the patients were secured. All the rooms, all areas were secured, and they were looking for this guy.
Which, by the way, during this time, you're on the phone with me live on the radio talking about this stuff, talking about the situation inside the hospital since you were inside the hospital.
Absolutely. I mean, I was on the phone with you initially to see how your birthday went yesterday, and as I was on the phone with you, I was escorted, told that there was a gunman there. And so, yes, of course, our conversation took that route of explaining that. But what was really amazing is I posted on my Facebook wall that, hey, as I do on some Fridays, go to St. Michael's to enjoy a bowl of gumbo. My wife's from Louisiana. I love it. They don't have the actual ingredients here locally for us to make it, and so we enjoy that there at the St. Michael's. But when I made that post, little did I know that this gunman was going to turn out to be myself.
All right, so how did you find out the gunman was you?
Well, it's really interesting. There's an older couple who sat next to me, and the lady said, "Gosh, you look very familiar. Are you Derek McGarry?" He's a city council member.
Sure.
I said, "No, I'm not Derek." I said, "I'm Leroy Dodd." She said, "Oh yeah, you ran for city council and all that good stuff." And so they said, "Well, we probably should let Vicky Melody or Carrie Meredith know," which is the city secretary and the marketing individual there at the city hall. Having worked at the city hall, I knew those names. I said, "So how did you know these people?" And so they kind of went on and told me how they're involved with elections and things. But Carrie got a phone call from Danny Presley, Captain Danny Presley,
Sure.
and he contacted her asking could he get in contact with Tiff, my wife, who works at the City Hall with Carrie, and Tiff shared my number with him. Well, he gives me a call while I'm sitting in this room with these other 20 individuals
On lockdown.
on lockdown while they're looking for this gunman. He calls and he asked me, am I at the hospital? I told him yes. He asked me where was I? I told him where I was. I was like, there's a situation going on. There's a gunman here. They're looking for him. And he cautiously tells me, the person they're looking for is you. And
What were you thinking at this point?
I hadn't had the best of luck over these past couple of weeks and months, and so I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. My face, I can't imagine. It was a priceless look.
Oh, yeah.
But seriously, he told me, no, really, they're looking for you. I've seen video. We looked at the video footage. We seen pictures, and it's you. They're looking for. So they're gonna be coming where you are. He told me to remain calm, don't do anything
And
solo.
stay on the phone with him?
Stay on the phone
Yeah.
with him. He wanted to make sure that, because this situation could have ended very differently. It
Oh,
could have
yeah.
been. It could have been a huge.
It could have been a huge mess. Is what it
mess
could have
here.
been.
And so, staying on the phone with him, the guys came in and they grabbed me, put me up against the wall, searched me down
They frisked
thoroughly,
you.
thoroughly. And, when Danny realized that they had me and everything's okay, he and I ended the call.
Now, I'm assuming that the officers came in with their weapons drawn.
Absolutely. Weapons were
That
drawn.
had to be quite the moment for you.
Man, this was, I've actually, you won't believe it. I've actually experienced this once before where guns were drawn and it was just another misunderstanding.
Yeah.
And so, you don't get used to that, of course,
No.
but, I was taken by surprise.
Wow, that's amazing. And so they take you. Well, first of all, did they cuff you?
No, I never was cuffed.
They never cuffed you. Okay, so they take you from the hospital and they take you downtown, as they say, and they begin to interrogate you downtown.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
I was taken downtown to get my story from beginning to end
Sure.
about what I done, who I talked to, what was said, how long I had been there. Did I have any receipts, proof of purchase showing where I purchased my gumbo? There was
Gun, but gumbo.
not gun, gumbo. And so it was quite an experience.
Okay, now, obviously you didn't have a gun, obviously, right?
Correct, I
No
did
gun.
not.
Okay. What did they think was a gun?
I want to say it was my cell phone and keys because that's all in my wallet. That's the only thing that I had in my possession. They did show me a photo of what they had gotten from the footage, and my only
So wait, let me get this straight. A black man walks into the emergency room of St. Michael's Hospital with his cell phone in his left hand. Were your keys in your other hand?
I want to say my keys and the phone were in the same hand.
And so then somebody thought that was a weapon.
Yeah, the assumption was that the keys was a shiny object that appeared to be a gun.
Yeah. Now,
And so that's where things started from there.
here's what's hilarious for me is that you walk in your shirt, you have a shirt and tie on, obviously,
Uh-huh.
and the back of your shirt says what?
Black sheep.
You gotta love it.
I picked a great day to wear it.
You gotta love it. All right, Leroy, man, we're glad you're safe. Thanks for sitting down and talking with us.
All right, thanks for having me on, Jeff.